Hi everybody and welcome to the Food Blogs. Today we are going to be making a berry tart. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is prep my ingredients. Let's get started. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the recipe. If you want the full ingredient list, it's going to be in the description box down below, so you can always go check that out, but I'm not going to put it up here. And so the first thing I'm going to start off with is some heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to get 1.5 cups of this heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to put it into a jar here. So this jar is sealable, so that's really important. And it seals pretty tight, so that's also really important because if your jar comes loose and you're trying to do this, then your ice cream will go everywhere. So you don't want that to happen. And you want to make sure that you get 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. But there are a lot of ways that you can modify this recipe, and one of the major ways is with the ice cream. The ice cream you don't have to make. And even if you are making it, you don't have to make it the same way that I'm making it. You can make a different flavor. Also, I'm making a cinnamon flavor because I feel that cinnamon and berry really pair together really well, so I'm doing that. But you can have any other type of ice cream flavor that you want, or you can even buy your ice cream, and so you don't have to make it. You can even go with just plain vanilla ice cream. And so there are so many ways that you can really just customize this ice cream and make this tart your own and make sure that your preference is going into it, and that's something that's really special about this tart. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to be putting into my ice cream is condensed milk. And now for the condensed milk is sometimes really, really hard to get out of the can, so this might take you a little while, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Bigger Bolder Baking. It's a really, really useful website to use when you're trying to make ice cream. On there, they also have lots of different types of ice cream flavor ideas, so that if you're making this recipe at home and you want to try a different flavor other than cinnamon, which is what I'm making, then you can get onto that website and then you can find whichever flavor it is that you want, and you can really customize this and have some sort of background knowledge to lead you along the way. So the next step here is just to mix your heavy cream and your condensed milk together, and this is just going to make sure that they're combined. And when that is ready, then you can start to mix it. You'll need to shake it for about 5 or 6 minutes. Look at that. It's really nice and creamy. It's nothing like what we put in before. This kind of whipped cream consistency is the kind that you want if you're making the same ice cream recipe. And so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting in 1 tablespoon of vanilla. We bought this vanilla extract at Kroger. So this is the Madagascar one, which is a little bit more expensive. But both of them are essentially the same thing other than the price and how they were made. So I'm just going to mix in my vanilla extract. Okay, so now it's time for us all to customize. Like I said, I'm doing cinnamon, and just like with the vanilla, I'm just doing 1 tablespoon. That's going to give it a really nice flavor, especially if it's spice, like what I'm using. So I'm putting all of my ice cream into this small plastic bowl here because now what we need to do is we need to put it in the fridge. It's gonna take only about like an hour or two. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up my oven. Okay, so now we are ready to start making our tart shell. And the key ingredients to making a really flaky tart shell are butter and sugar. So we are going to begin making our tart shell by creaming together 1.5 sticks of butter and 1/2 of a cup of sugar. So the next thing that we're gonna add is flour, and I'm using all-purpose flour. Put in 1.5 cups of this flour. And I'm just doing this 1/2 of a cup at a time. I'm just going to go in with my hand and start to knead it into a dough. Okay, so now that I've finished kneading in my first 1/2 cup of flour, I'm gonna go ahead and start kneading in my other 2 1/2 cups of flour until 1.5 cups are complete. So I finished putting in my 1.5 cups of flour, and once your dough is done, you will know because you will be able to lift it up and hold it like this. My dough is ready, and now I'm going to butter my pan. So I finished buttering my pan, and I'm gonna go in with my dough. And so what I'm gonna be doing with my dough is, in my buttered pan, I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna press it down and make sure that it covers the entire bottom of the pan and the sides. And this is gonna make sure that my tart is a beautiful shape, since I'm going to be molding it into the same shape that this pan is. And this pan is the same shape that I want my tart to be in. Okay, so now that we're done with our tart crust, we are going to go ahead and put it in the oven. My oven is all heated up, and I'm gonna put it in for just 12 minutes. Okay, so just like with our ice cream, we're gonna start off with some heavy whipping cream. And we're just gonna put in 1/2 of a cup. And now what I'm gonna do with this is I'm just gonna shake it. So, whipped cream done. And I'm going to mix in about 1 tablespoon of sugar. And now I'm gonna take the tart shell out of the oven. Once you take the tart shell out of the oven, you want to leave it out to cool for a little bit of time so that the ice cream does not melt when it is put onto it. And so for the ice cream, like I said before, it has to be put in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. However, I left my ice cream inside the fridge for a little bit longer than that. So the consistency of my ice cream is not the same as the consistency of a normal ice cream. And it was kind of more on the side of a solid than what a normal ice cream would be. So my ice cream doesn't look as good as normal ice cream, but I promise it tasted just as well. And so this recipe does work, except you just kind of have to be careful and check on the ice cream when it's in the fridge. And so what you're gonna do is you're just going to put your ice cream on top of the tart shell and begin to layer your tart. The layer that is going to go on top of the ice cream is the whipped cream that we made. However, I must have been having bad luck with consistency because my whipped cream also turned out to have a different consistency than what it should have had, since when I shook the cream, I did it for too long. And so my whipped cream also turned out with a little bit more of a solid consistency than what a normal whipped cream consistency would be. So as you can see, the whipped cream layer is just a little bit thinner than the ice cream layer, but that's fine, and it's still gonna taste really good. So the next thing that I did is I just washed some frozen berries, and I went ahead and started decorating my tart so that it has a very nice berry taste and it also looks nice. You guys don't have to use the berries on top of your tart. You can really put any fruit, or you can put a different kind of thing that you like. You can put nuts. There are lots of things that you can put on top of your tart, but I wanted to make a berry tart, and so that is why I put these berries on. After topping off your tart, be sure to stick it in the freezer for a couple of hours before enjoying to ensure that your tart is the best quality possible. If you want the full ingredients list with measurements, be sure to head over to the description box below where I will have the entire list, and I will also have several reference links that you guys can go check out to make your tart even better if you're looking to try this out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.